Hello, my name is Dave and this is Tom. And we both play, well, you play Max and Play That Goes Wrong, and I used to play it. And we're just enjoying our Elevenses here in the VIP room at the Duchess Theatre, where you can see the play that goes wrong. And we've got some questions for each other. So we're going to ask those questions, and hopefully you'll enjoy viewing those answers. I don't know why I've become so awkward and embarrassed.
No, this is good.
So I want to begin by saying I like your shirt.
Dave Hearn, thank you very much. I'm a big fan of your shirt as well, and your little bag that is off camera.
Oh yeah, you don't get to see the little bag.
But that's a really cool little bag.
You don't get to see the little bag. Okay. Hopefully this shirt isn't strobing. We were asked specifically not to wear anything that was strobing.
I won't move. If I just remain very still. Do not move.
Hold on, give us a little movement.
We're good.
We got a thumbs up. You decide, viewer. Okay, so am I going to ask you first, or do you want to ask me? Or should we alternate?
Let's alternate.
Let's alternate, okay.
Shall I go first?
You go first, yeah.
Mr. Dave Hearn.
Yep, far away.
For Tom to ask Dave.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
the correct one.
I feel like I'm in a quiz.
Yeah, no, don't get it wrong. What was your first role on stage?
Is there multiple choice?
No.
Damn. My first role on stage. My first role on stage was, I believe I was the Six of Clubs in Alice in Wonderland.
How old were you?
I must have been like 4. But that's
proper.
it. I tell you what though, actually, here's a better story. So when I was like 7, I was playing the Ghost of Christmas Future in Christmas Carol. Yeah. And I had all my lines cut because I was, and I quote, messing about. And I believe the teacher said to me, if you don't stop messing about, I'm going to cut all your lines. And then obviously I carried on messing about and I had all my lines cut. Now I think, and if you're watching this, I think what happened was she realised that the Ghost of Christmas Future doesn't have any lines and was looking, I think she was out to redeem herself.
Yeah.
And I think she was like, I got to cut this kid's lines, but I'm going to blame it on him.
Yeah.
That's
brutal.
Classic 90s teaching.
Yeah, that's quite mean.
Yeah. So let's say that. But I didn't really start acting until I was 17. Oh. So I didn't really I was never really thinking about being an actor.
No.
But yeah, 6 Clubs, Ghost of Christmas Future.
Those are some pretty good roles, I'd say.
Yeah, how about you?
Quite dramatic. But my first role on stage was The Little Prince. And it was year 3, and I played a king. Wow. I don't know if there is a king in The Little Prince. I've not read it since.
Well, presumably he's got a dad, so...
Yeah, presumably so. Well, yeah. Actually, I was the dad, obviously.
He's the dad.
But the only thing I remember about that was that I had to drink. I think he was like a drunk in this quite strange production.
You were like 6?
I know, yeah, about 6. But I remember he had to be sipping from this wine bottle, doing some drunk acting.
Wow.
And my teacher, Lisa, she made me drink cold tea. So the tea looked like whiskey or brandy in this wine bottle. And I was obviously a 6-year-old drinking just like tea, bitter tea.
Did you go ballistic?
I think I must have done. I can't remember. That's all I remembered was like forcing it down. Just going like, this is so
You can't
painful.
even remember it. That's how much caffeine you had.
Yeah. It was quite a lot.
You started messing about, had all your lines cut.
Yeah, exactly. And here we are.
That's what you got to do for Max. Okay, for Dave to ask Tom. Oh, I've just done that. What was your first role on stage? There we go. I'm ahead of the game. So you ask me one now. Yeah.
Right. How long have you been playing Max for?
Oh God. I actually don't know.
That's a big question.
I think that's math. I think when we did Broadway, we hit over 1,000 shows.
That's mental.
Just Play That Goes Wrong. So that's like 2,000 hours. That's like nearly 200 days or something. That's a lot of that's a lot of time. That's math. And then you've obviously got like Play That Goes Wrong, Pan, and then all the TV stuff. So, a long time, since like 2012. And you've been doing it for like 3 months, right?
3 months.
Rube. All right. Okay, this isn't your first Mischief show.
No.
What was it like being in another #goes wrong world?
Oh, man. The first one, when I first joined, it was for Magic Goes Wrong as an understudy.
Yeah, of course.
But it was the first iteration, initially before COVID.
Yep.
And so I did rehearsals for that. Then obviously COVID just stopped everything, and then it was sort of rejigged a little bit, and it was like the show was rewritten in certain places. Yeah. I was overwhelmed. I'll be honest. It was quite overwhelming because first of all, I'd never understudied before.
Okay.
And it was for all the male presenting characters, and I just, we were talking about rehearsals just before this. the rehearsal process was like, it was full on. You had to like be in that room and then that room, and you had to try and track what all the actors are doing, where you're moving, and jotting it all down and getting multiple scripts. But the main thing was everyone was just so lovely. So it was nerve wracking, but also like everyone was just so lovely and made you feel sort of part of a little gang. So
that's nice. Yeah, because we're notorious for changing stuff as well all the time.
Yeah.
Nightmare for understudies.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But now I really like that. I'm quite comfortable with that world of being like, let's get rid of that. Just like we've just spent 3 weeks working on that one scene. No,
it doesn't work, man. Let's lose it.
So, yeah.
But also, I think for us as well, like we love it when understudies are on, just because it's like we get to play, and like not that we don't get to play with each other, but we get to be like, oh, here's a new energy.
Yeah.
And I personally, and I think most of us love it, where it's like, oh, you only like sort of know this. This is great. But I remember Adele in Spies, she was like, you guys are like sharks after blood when like someone on stage, particularly her, she was like, if I have a glint in the eye or like crack a smile, I see like all 8 of you like snipers are just like, let's make Adele laugh. So it's so much fun when we have understudies on to sort of attack in that way.
Yeah. Well,
but it's, as you heard, a lovely environment.
It is. Especially when we got one of our understudies, Ed, who's wonderful. He went on in the first week quite quickly. As is the way. And it was so joyous because I was expecting him to be like very nervous, but he got down. He's in his outfit, in his Robert outfit, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm all right, mate." And he was really chill. And he's also the youngest in the cast. He's 24 years of age. And I was going, "How is he this calm?" And we got on stage, and he was absolutely smashing it. But then we got into Act 2, and you could just see he was slightly going, "What's coming in?" And you're absolutely right. There was that glint of just, but it adds to the play, especially this one as well.
Yeah.
Where like you're like, "What's going to happen?" That energy was so good.
Yeah.
So fun.
You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll just see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Hold on, where do we get up to? How long was it? This is your first. Okay, you, me. Tom to our stage.
What's it like returning to the role over the years, Dave Hearn?
Oh, of Max Bennett, yeah. That's a good question. Thanks, Tom. I was really excited, actually, because I think because we came back and did play, like, when was that?
Not long ago.
Yeah, like a year, 2 years ago?
Last year.
Yeah, we did play last year. And was it last year?
For the 10th, it was the 10th.
Oh no, I was away. I didn't do that one.
Oh,
but
okay.
when we filmed it in Chicago, cut all this.
Might be the year before.
Yeah, when I came back and did play, it was really interesting because I hadn't done it for must be 5 or 6 years or something. Surprised how much of it I could remember. I remember we had a week's worth of rehearsal.
Yeah.
We came in and we did day 1, and then by the end of it we were like, should we just have the rest of the week off and then come back and do the tech? Because we were like, we sort of know it, and we were just kind of coming in and we were just like hanging out, and then obviously we didn't want to do any rewrites because the show is like settled in. But yeah, it was really fun to return to it, and it was really fun to speak to the actors who were in the cast and at the time, and speak to the director as well, Amy, and kind of communicate some of the more like niche aspects of the character that hadn't been passed down because they were just in our heads.
Yeah.
And they were just like silly little things that we thought of. And then she was like, this makes sense, and this makes sense, and this makes sense. And it's just like, yeah, but you don't need that to do the show, but this is the nonsense that we came up with. But yeah, it was like returning to an old friend and just having license. And I don't know if you find this, but play is a very technical show, and you have to be very judicious with when you engage with the audience and when you let the show play out, because Max does have the capacity to derail the whole thing. Yeah. And I'm a fan of derailing. And so I found the discipline to not disrupt the show too much.
Yeah.
Probably the most challenging thing. Yeah.
Definitely. But actually, it's interesting you say about the little things that you guys, created and then found, and it gets passed on. One of the notes from Amy, when Max and Sandra are doing their it's just them in Act 1, was that she was like, Dave Hearn would say that Max really enjoys playing Sexier Fair Man.
Okay.
And that's what she would say to me. He really enjoys playing Sexier Fair Man, and that was her only note for that bit. Is that true?
I've never said that, but that. But I think.
What was that?
Careful, Amy, putting words in my mouth. Maybe I did say that. Damn, I actually trust her more than I trust myself. But I think, but that also that does make sense. Where he's just like, someone's just said to him like, "Oh, you're sexy fair man," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can play that." I think as well, my main thing for Max was that he just embraced. He was the only character that embraced that he is in a comedy, and I think he doesn't quite understand like the technicality of how to do a comedy, but I think when they go out, the improv we would do backstage is Chris is running around going, "Why is everyone laughing? This is a serious play." And Max just adapts immediately and goes, "Oh, we must be doing. I must have got it wrong.
Yeah.
We're doing a comedy.
Yeah.
So let's just go out and do things that make people laugh."
Yeah.
And like, when they're laughing and he's laughing, and when they're clapping, he's clapping. He's like, "Yeah, they're enjoying it." And the more he does it, the more they enjoy it. So he's like, "I don't understand, Chris. Like, this is going brilliantly."
Yeah.
But he's the only one in there that thinks he's like. He comes off at the end. We did this improv at the end with a Q&A. When we were at the Old Red Lion, we had to add a Q&A because it was only 50 minutes long. So we made it up to an hour with improvised Q&A after the bow. And everyone would say, "How do you think the show's gone?" And Max would always go, "Yeah, I think we did pretty well. Like, you guys seem to really laugh and enjoy it."
Yeah.
And all the other characters like, "You're an idiot. It's not meant to be a comedy." Yeah. So that was the thing that I always found with Max, was just that he's actually so naive, but he's weirdly so adaptable that he's almost impenetrable. It's just like, yeah, this is great.
In a bizarre way, quite good that he's got. It's amazing how he can adapt. Like, it's and
weirdly skillful.
Yeah, it's quite
He's
amazing.
just like, "Oh, great, we're doing a comedy."
Great.
On the fly in the West End, he's like, "Great, we're changing the genre. Done."
Yeah.
Okay, it must be your turn. Okay, Tom, how do you get into character? Any pre-show routines? That's routines.
Oh, get into character. I don't think I'm very similar to Max Bennett.
Okay.
My wife disagrees.
Sure.
And she thinks that I am quite similar to
Okay.
Max. I tend to muck around a little bit backstage, I'll be honest. That is a part of my routine.
Yep.
And I think actually helps get me into character a little bit.
Nice.
Not in a massively disruptive way, but just, I'll sort of tease people a little bit before they go on.
Minimal disruption, maximum laughter.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And that's what I tend to do. But yeah, I don't have any sort of like things I need to do. I don't knock on the floor of the stage or.
Who does that?
People do that, yeah.
People, plural.
There's a few in the cast now who have little routines. They've got little rituals they do.
Knocking on the stage.
Yeah, knocking twice. Not like
Sounds
that.
like come in. You're like, "Ooh."
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, but I don't have that. But maybe I should try and find one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that? Do you have a little ritual?
More weirdly with Mischief Movie Night. So with Mischief Movie Night, hug everyone in the backstage team or shake hands. Just so that I find that, and I was doing it at the top of Spies, and then halfway through Spies I got a bit sad and I stopped doing it, and then I got happy again. But like weird, I should have kept up the hugging.
Yeah.
But I think because my thing was always, particularly with play, because it can feel quite military sometimes. It is very structured, and like the laughs come in the same places, and there's actually not a lot of room until you sit in it in a much more comfortable way. That the first time I would see people would either be backstage or on stage.
Yeah.
And so you'd be like living your life, playing a character, and then it's like, "Oh, I haven't seen Tom today, and now we're doing a scene together pretending to be different people." So I found like hugging or shaking hands with people was just a way to like be like, "Hey, we're in the building together before we go and do this thing."
Yeah.
And I remember, and also you can, because I've known like people like Henry Lewis for so long, I can look at him and get his vibe that day in like a second. And if the first time I'm doing that is on stage, I'm like, "Oh, Hen's, he's on one today, or he's pissed off, or whatever he's feeling."
Yeah.
That like, if you're discovering that on stage, your brain just clicks off for a second and then comes back. That actually you just get to do that before you go on.
Yeah.
But, that's my thing.
I suppose also the question, like, we do play patty ball, which is...
Patty ball?
Oh, man.
Sounds fun.
Well, to be fair, we thought you guys originated it. It's been passed down for like at least the last 7 years in the Duchess. But it's 4 people on stage, the rest in the first 3 rows of the stalls.
Oh,
and it's basically,
yeah.
don't let the ball drop, but there's teams, there's loads of rules. It can get quite aggressive, but in a good way, competitive way. And I suppose that is something that brings us together. And we all warm up together as well, which is really nice. It is really nice. We all do it, and patty ball's an important part of the day.
Yeah, I wish we had patty ball in Spies, actually. Okay.
Is it me to you now?
It must be, actually, yeah.
Dave Hearn, what's the line people quote most at you / your favourite line by Max?
I know this one. That's 2 separate questions, I think. The one that gets quoted to me the most is Snap Snap.
Yeah.
Snap Snap. From...
that was good.
yeah, that's,
That was good.
did I get the part?
Yeah, you did.
From Peter Pan. And I remember, because on the BBC, I remember I was in that military sleeping bag, which was what the outfit was. Oh, God, it was so hot. And I said to the director, I said, am I mic'd up for this? And he was like, no. And I said, I want to be saying Snap Snap. And he was like, okay. And I went, trust me, you're going to want to get that. And he was like, okay, we'll mic you up then. And I was like, yeah. And just like so cocky, and did it. And then I was like, what do you think of my Snap Snap? And he went, yeah, we got it. And I was like, yeah, trust me, man. And then like a year down the line, I saw him, and he was just like, Snap Snap, it's gone global. It's gone global, man. He broke the internet with Snap Snap. But my favourite, I don't know if it's my favourite line, my favourite routine that I've done was with Henry Shields in Harper's Locket, where he's giving me the pound note, and he's saying, take it, don't take it, and he keeps taking it.
Yeah.
And actually I watched that back, and I was like, oh, this is just such a simple routine of two naive clowns and an Auguste that don't, like, the naive just doesn't get it.
No.
And it's the first time that you really see Max, because he's not actually that stupid.
No.
But it's the first time that he's just really trying to help, and his just confusion with Chris. Where he's like, why do you keep giving it to me then? Stop giving it to me if you don't want me. Stop it. And so for me, that's a really enjoyable. To do that with Jono as well, as Dennis dressed as a horse, and then him taking it, and then just that whole thing, and then him smashing me in the head. There was so many beats to it. And I remember talking to Henry Shields about it, and he was like, there's like 15 beats to this section. I was like, yeah, it's great. But all of that's done up to the editor. So yeah, that's my favourite bit.
That's your favourite bit.
But Snap Snap is probably the classic.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Okay, Tom, you've been playing Max now for a few months.
Yeah.
Anything new you've discovered about him over the course of that time?
Well, we've sort of actually you sort of mentioned it yourself, but you've got to be careful, I think, with derailing in terms of like why does he think this is what is it about the audience? That's something that I just had to get an audience in front of me. Rehearsals were like so enjoyable.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me just doing it to like an empty.
Oh, it's horrible. It's excruciating.
It didn't. After a while, I started to doubt it, and I was going, "What?
Yeah.
I don't understand why he would look out." And then suddenly, we actually before our opening night, it was a great setup. I don't know who came up with it. Maybe someone in the office. Like, get some of the casts from around here, who like don't get to see shows because they're in shows. They can have an open dress to watch us.
That's a great idea.
It was so good, and I think it's going to carry on for the future. Like, it's a great idea. And we had all these casts in. I've never been so nervous in my life.
Yeah.
Because it's out there. Les Mis, Lion King, just there, Mamma Mia there. And everyone was in, and they were so supportive. But it was the moment that we started, and that first roar of laughter, or first little tickles, and like just hearing it. And I think that's something I've really enjoyed just in the first few months, discovering is like they actually are leading you. You're not like leading them.
Yeah,
I think that's so. It first of all keeps it like fresh. It's different every night, but it's really enjoyable to be led by them. And sometimes you've got a really like good audience. They're just quite quiet. They're just very polite, and they don't want to be. They're very polite.
They want to give you space for the gags.
Yeah, and they're being very delicate, and therefore it kind of changes how Max interacts with them in a little 100%. Way. And I really enjoy doing that every night, because I definitely in rehearsal I'd overcook it, and I'd be like beaming out, and it wasn't right, and it would make him quite annoying.
Yeah, it doesn't land. I think I've always said this to whoever's ended up playing Max. It's like the hardest part will be the rehearsal. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's horrible, because like you are getting advice from all directions about, you'll probably get a laugh here, they'll probably be around here, and you go, okay, but how? Like, the only time you can actually rehearse it is with 500 people or 1,000 people in the audience.
Yeah.
And seeing what they do, and just reacting to that. And actually what ends up happening is you're in the rehearsal, and you completely lose faith in it. And the way that started was all improvised with me and Shields. So we never had that process of, we've got this idea of a character who's going to interact with the audience. No. It just said in the script, Max is nervous. That was the only thing it said. And so the whole thing was born out of a development over like 2 years.
Yeah.
And so then when you get into these big West End stages where you're like, oh wow, it's even better, because you've got loads of people laughing and loads of individual noises and laughs and silly things.
Oh, the noises.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And I think that you end up kind of connecting in a different way, but it's when you force the connection is when it's tricky. And that was the only thing I said to Amy when I came back in. I was like, the audience should get this Max's journey through the story or through the play comedically should be dictated by the audience, not by what we think it should be. Yeah. And it was always the thing that Adam Megiddo, who's one of our directors, said. It's actually about improv, but it applies to Max in The Play That Goes Wrong. He says, play the show that you have, not the show that you think it should be. Yeah. And it's like, if you don't get around, if you don't get an applause, then the audience doesn't get that reaction from Max, and that is a shame. Yeah. And you're in your head going, "Oh, guys, there's so much richness here that you can get. Man, I'll give you a bow, man." And it's totally inappropriate, and you just don't get. You're not going to get that. No. But that's the thing I think that makes that part so fun, because then when you get stuff in places that you do 500-600 shows, and it becomes clockwork. Yeah. But then your certain audiences will give you different things in places you don't expect, and you're so ready for it, and you just have the confidence to build it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you're discovering that, and it's also okay as well, I think, to not get those things. Like, it is a shame if you don't get that first round, you don't get to join them. You have to kind of wait till later. Yeah. Hope to get another round, build the game there, or whatever it is. But actually, it's just like, okay, this is what we're doing today, and it's sort of a release of control rather than like, here's the show.
Laugh.
Well, I'm glad you learnt that. That's wonderful. It took me a long time to learn that. Okay, hold on.
Is it me to
It is your turn. I just got excited. I was too excited talking to you.
Okay. Favourite funny memory from the time... Let me say that again. Favourite funny memory from time playing him, Max?
That sounds like you put that through Google Translate.
Favourite
funny memory from time playing him. Max. Favourite funny memory from time playing him, Max. Okay. That is really tough. Oh, I tell you what, actually, right. So we did the show in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. And this was in the same year where we did it in Barbados. It was mental. It was so mad. Because we booked it before we booked this tour and then the West End. And then Kenny was like, yeah, you want to go to Dubai for like 3 days? And we're like, yeah, man. But when we got up there, they built the set and they built it all over the shop. And so on the Play That Goes Wrong set in the West End, you have the picture, fireplace, the door, the window, the upper level. Yeah. We didn't have an upper level. So we were doing like an amalgamation of both acts, but without the upper level. Yeah. So like a 90-minute show, basically. But what they'd done was they'd put the fireplace over here, they'd put the door, the window here, and then the door here, so that the phone and the door were like as far away from each other as they possibly could be. And in the show, obviously, you're holding up all the stuff, and then you hand the phone to Robert, and that whole section happens like this distance away. But we were like 10 feet apart. And I got there and I said, how am I going to get the phone to you, Hen, while I'm holding up this picture? Yeah. And so we were like, okay, what are we going to do? And so what I did was I put the phone back on the receiver and I held it, and then I launched it off. So I held onto the receiver, the base, and the receiver flew across the stage. And the problem we had then was that Hen's face is against the wall, so he can't see. So he's got his hand out, like that. And we tried it, and it just kept hitting the floor. I said, I tell you what, Hen, we got 5 shows, right? I'll give you like $1,000 if you catch it once. And I said, I tell you what, I'll make 3 attempts without you looking. If you can't catch it on the 3rd, well, I'll get someone out of the audience. And he was like, okay, fine. First show, first attempt, bang, catches it. No. I'm like, unbelievable. We're in. Let's go. Massive round. I was like, I put everything down. I was just like, it was just Dave. There was no acting required. I was like, that is unbelievable. And the Hen was laughing, and I grabbed the phone and I was like, yeah. Second show, drops it. Third show, drops it. Every show. It was a train wreck. But when we did it in Abu Dhabi, I looked out into the audience, and this guy who was really enjoying the show, I pointed to him and I was like, yeah, you come up. And he was just like, yeah. And he was dressed in quite like a regal outfit, like a kind of, it was a lot. And I saw all these guys around him suddenly like stiffen. And I was like, oh, the vibe shifted. And this guy's coming up. And I think he came up and he was laughing. And I was like, yeah, come and, I was like, can you give him the phone? And he went, yeah, and obviously it's on elastic, so it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and everyone's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He gets the phone over to Hen, and then he gets around, and he goes to leave the stage. And I go, no, I can't, I haven't had enough. So I was like, come back. And I was like, hold this. And he holds it, and I was like, hold that. I was just seeing what I could get this guy to do. And then he held it, and I was like, great. And I went down and sat in the chair and just watched the show, and just watched Hen do the scene. I was like, this is great. All happens, finishes. We do this little routine where he's trying to hand the receiver back, and I'm trying to shake his hand, and I take it and go, and we keep handing it back. And he's like doing really well. Then the lady who organised it after the show was like, you must never do that again. And I went, what? And I think he was one of the Sheikh's sons. He was like a prince. And all the guys that had like stiffened were security.
Oh, that's so good.
I was like, oh, but it's just, he wanted to come up and have a laugh. And she was like, yeah, you can't do that. And I was like, well, I did. So, like, what's... Okay, I promise I won't get another prince up.
Yeah.
And then no more came anyway. But, like, it was that thing of just being like, the reason I chose him, because he was beaming.
Yeah, perfect.
And he was just, like, loving it. And then I was like, yeah, let's get him up, let's do it. And he had a great time, we had a great time. And, yeah, it's just finding... I could have been shot or something, I don't know. Yeah. But nothing bad was happening, and it's a comedy show, and he was having a great time. But yeah, that was one of my...
You have been on the run ever since.
Yeah, I can't
fly.
I can't go back. yeah, I'm not even allowed in the airspace. No. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favourite memories.
That's ace.
Have you had any yet?
Nothing as good as that. Nothing as good as that. I think the smaller things for me can set me off. And I think in our first ever week, we just opened, and it was I think it was our fourth show. And there was still those nerves there of going, right, we want to hit these beats and make sure it's all going well. And it got to Act 2, and it was the telephone scene was about to happen. And I'm communicating up there with Robert, who's up on the platform.
Yeah.
And the little, what's it called, the plant, has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And it just fell at the wrong time. It just fell at just the least funny moment of the show, and me and Robert, it was our first time. We just looked and locked eyes, and it was so small, it was so nothing, and it sent us, and I could barely breathe. And what was bad was the audience had no idea what we were laughing at, and
that's the worst.
And we were not. They were not with us at all.
Yeah.
And the shame, guilt going through both of us that this is our first week on this job. And this is what was happening, and we just found it so funny. And we managed. It was only, to be fair, a few seconds, but it felt like an eternity.
Very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional.
But I endorse
Can we cut
it.
that?
I endorse it.
Actually, Dave Hearn endorsed it.
Yeah, I've endorsed it.
That's good.
Hold on, give me that. What's the lines before you do the first big mind speech? Were you with the inspector?
The one with the inspector. So the window lifts just happened.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And so Crispy and Max are right downstage left.
Yeah, exactly.
Like trying to cover, shouting over.
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
It was you expected you of that?
I should know that.
No, what is it?
It was...
Oh no, that's the start of the speech. Oh, Inspector.
I mean, you've done it over 1,000 times. I'm currently doing it. It goes...
It's like, I would never do such a thing. And then it's like...
you know about that, and...
You knew about that. That's it.
Yeah.
He's cute. That's the line I'm looking for,
Yeah.
right? So lean in a bit closer. So you're Chris Bean.
Yeah.
I'm me. I'm Max. And I got Henry Shields so bad, but I got myself, because I was like, we were screaming at each other, and I don't know why, I just wanted to wind him up. And I went, you knew about that? And I just poked him really gently in the cheek, and Shields' eyes just went wide, and under that little moustache, his mouth just curled up, and he just shook his head at me. He was like, what are you doing? And I was just poking him in the face.
So good.
And then I laughed so much. And then I went to do the big speech that's like, you've got to have a lot of breath for. And I was just coughing spluttering my way through the speech, completely killed the moment. Shields just turned his back to the audience and was just smiling at me upstage while I fumbled my way through the speech and completely destroyed that entire section of the show. And then I didn't get around at the end of the speech, brutal. And Shields laughed again. And I literally just went, I just walked off and just left. I was just like, I'm done. we've had enough. But yeah, that was
The face poke. That's that can be
Little
can be
face
used.
poke.
I might steal that if you don't mind.
Yeah, a little face poke. It's got to be really gentle, or just like on the end of the nose.
A little boop.
Yeah, just a little like you about that. Yeah. Right, hold on. How long we got? We're really milking this, aren't we? Christ.
Oh well, yeah, sorry.
Currently sent at 31 minutes.
Oh, you wanted 20 minutes.
That's fine.
Sorry.
We'll trim it. Okay, hold on. Right. Okay, we've done favourite audience response funny moments so far. We've covered your
Wait.
funny moments so far.
Yes.
To you. Okay, and then
Is this the fan question now?
yeah,
Oh, wait,
let's do
have
fan
asked you the final-
question. Yeah,
Yes, I've done that.
favourite
Yeah, great.
memory. Yeah, great. Okay, fan questions.
Shall I ask you the fan question?
Okay, yeah, go on.
Dave Hearn.
Yeah.
Hardest joke / gag in the show to nail from Katie_Grace_Musgrove.
Thanks, Katie_Grace_Musgrove. Hardest joke in the show to nail for Max is probably the little mini slip. The mini slip, is that still in? That might have been
What
cut
do you mean,
actually.
sorry?
There's a little mini slip where you're upstage by the door and you're about to walk downstage. It's just where the whiskey's been spit out onto the floor.
Oh, go on.
And you do a little slip on the line. I think it might have been cut. I think the problem was, this is about to be a non-humble brag. I think the problem was that I was doing it, and this is Henry Shields. Henry Shields said this to me. He said, "You're doing it so well that people think it's not a joke, that you're actually slipping."
Yeah.
And it would either get a really big laugh, but then it got to the point where, in order to get the laugh, it was so weird. I'd do the line, and as I was walking, and I'd be saying the line, and then kind of do that, and he was like, "It's not getting. Everyone's tensing up because they know the show is dangerous, and that actor's actually just slipped."
Yeah.
So it ended up me just going completely to ground in order to get the laugh. I had to just slip it and be like, "Wah!" Just like fall over and then recover. And then the director came in and was just like, "I love it. It's funny, but it just kills any momentum we have in that moment."
Scares people. You're scaring people.
Yeah. So it was just like, that's hard. But either that or the first big mime speech.
Yeah, I need to
It's
ask you about.
tricky.
I need to ask you about the mimes.
Yeah, that's off camera. You can't have those secrets.
What? How did they come about?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because I've heard rumours.
What are the rumours?
You tell me. You tell me.
Okay. So what happened was we were in rehearsal and Henry Lewis did something, as he always does, that really made me laugh. I cannot remember what it was, but the laughter went over like 3 scenes. Like seriously, like I was in a scene, I was just there like, and I was getting lines out, and I'd go off, compose myself, open the door, come back on, immediately start laughing. And it got to the point in that scene with Shields where the mime section comes up, and that was just originally a big speech that was covering the exit. The exit was still happening.
Oh right.
And while we were rehearsing it, we didn't have the window, so the director just kept saying, "Keep going, keep going, keep going," and I was laughing so much I physically couldn't say the lines. And he said, "Just mime it, just mime the lines." Yeah. And so I just started miming the lines, and everyone came round off stage and just watched me do this big speech, miming the lines, kind of improvising it. And then he said, "Oh, I don't know if but there's something in that. There's something in that that's quite fun." And so what it transferred into was that he was so overwhelmed that the way he'd remembered his lines was through this series of mimes. Yeah. And he just restored to factory settings when he was panicking. And he just mimed all the lines. And then he gets the round and it kind of brings him back into the room and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're doing a comedy."
Yeah.
And like, yeah. But what is that?
That is pretty much it. I the way it's been translated down to me through the years is that your corpsing, your laughing, was actually you were not told to mime, you were shouted at to mime.
Oh yeah, well, that's probably
which maybe a bit of.
No, that is probably more accurate. So I think the director was just like, "Come on, Dave, we're trying to rehearse." I was like, "I'm having fun here, man." But no, that it probably is more accurate actually. Okay, final audience question. I'm just aware that this is going to get cut down, so shut up.
It could be a 2-part series. It could be
3-part series.
3-part series.
We'll do a little
We love
3-part.
content. Just
Yeah.
keep going.
Okay, this is a fan question. What is one bit about your character that you made up and follow even if it's not true. That is from Laurie.on_tour.
Laurie on tour. That's an interesting question. So which part? What's something that I've made up about the character?
Yeah. That it doesn't even, you follow it even if it's not true.
We found this in our rehearsals in the first week, and actually it could be really similar to what you guys created. I don't know, but we found that me and Max and Dennis, have known each other since we were little kids.
Oh,
And we're sort
cool.
of best mates. But best mates more. Dennis doesn't really. I sort of look after Dennis a little bit, and I helped him
Yeah.
learn the lines. And we just talking about the mimes just then. We learned all the lines together through physical
Oh,
mimes.
that's very sweet.
So what triggers the first nonsense
Oh,
is because Dennis did it. He out of his nerves. He did I can't remember his cues that, but he ends up doing this, and that makes me go, oh yeah, my next one's that.
Okay.
And that's what triggers that. And then that throughout Act 2, me and Dennis have little moments together. The audience wouldn't even notice it, but we have little moments when we're sat in the shades together in Act 2 with Arthur. And we have a little moment when he's a bit upset because he got the word wrong.
Yeah.
And we just check in with each other a little bit.
That's
Not
my
by saying-
favourite scene, that one.
It's really
I love
lovely.
that,
Yeah, and we have a little moment. Oh, don't worry, you're doing great. We don't say it even, but it's just like that's the energy. And that's our little backstory, which is quite cute.
I always used to do a full hug with Jono.
Oh.
So when he gets the line wrong, and then the lights go back upstairs, I'd always hug him, and then we'd be and then he comes up, and then he's is it Kyanidi? Is that the thing on the thing? Yeah, and he cries into the thing, and I'd always turn us away from the audience, and then walk him upstage, and then be like, hey man, you did a great job. And John would be like, thanks man. But then on some days I'd be like, this audience is great, isn't it? And so we'd just be chatting.
Yeah, nice.
Have a quick chat, and then turn back to. And then the idea would be that Max is pets Dennis,
Cheat
and it's
him up.
let's get back into the show. But yeah, no, that is a really fun moment. My one was that Max had been offered Hamlet at the National to play Hamlet.
No.
And so the idea was, it happened in an improv where Robert was doing some of his Robert Grove, and he was asking Max, he was like, what are you up to? And he was just sort of
Very good impression.
so many years around Robert Grove, and he would hear. So there was this whole thing where I was just trying to make Hen laugh in this improv. Where I was like, "Yeah, I've just been offered to play Hamlet," and he was like, "Where?" And I was like, "At the National," and he was like, "The National Theatre," and I was like, "Yeah, the National Theatre," and he was like, "What else have you got?" And I went, "Oh yeah, Tom Cruise called me about Mission Impossible and wanted me to play." And it was that he'd been offered all these massive parts, but he was scared of them, or he didn't really get it. So he was just like, "Oh, I like hanging out with my friends, and I like doing this play, and I like doing this community theatre. So why would I want to go to a big theatre with loads of people I don't know and play a big part?"
I love that.
And so he's he doesn't realise, he might not even be that good an actor, but I think he walks into a room and people are like, this kid's got something because he's so vacant. They're like, he must know something, because there's no way anyone in their right mind would give this performance. But the idea that he'd been offered all these massive parts and turned them all down so that he could come and do the Murder at Havisham Manor.
That's lovely.
with his friends.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's a cool thing to just occasionally just bring out backstage if you're doing improv.
Yeah.
And just especially with Robert, because it winds him up. It's really fun. It's really fun. We should sign off. Hold on, what's your Max face? Do you do
My Max face?
Yeah, do you do a...
Well, when he's playing Cecil and Arthur the Gardener, I have the same face.
Okay, yeah, me too.
And it disappears quite a lot because he gets distracted quite a lot.
Yeah.
But there's an eyebrow raise.
Okay, nice.
And I think I copied it from you, from pictures of you doing it, but I always hold the jacket.
Oh,
in a certain way.
Play with the jumper a bit,
and I think there's been a few times I've seen clips of you, and you hold it in quite a unnatural but feels nice way.
Yeah, it's quite like someone who's not
First time
quite
wearing blazer.
comfortable on stage, who's just I'm doing acting now.
Yeah.
Chris has told me to do this, and I'm doing it.
But I find that's coming into my normal life, even I kind of just...
Something to do
it's
with
quite
hands.
nice.
Yeah. Hold on, so we should... Nathan gives a countdown. We'll go here, and then you do 3, 2, 1, and we'll look at the camera and do a Max look. Whichever one you want. Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1.
There you go. Yes. Thanks, man.
Thanks.